REED-BBS, BBS. PBC on Prime Video, Plant versus Resendiz, Charlo versus Lamanana, recap. Caleb Plant, the Robin Thicke of boxing. I hate them blurred lines. It was revealed that Plant and Resendiz actually sparred a few rounds prior to Plant's fight with Canelo Alvarez. That bit of familiarity, however many rounds it was, that bit of familiarity definitely paid off in Resendiz's favor. Plant likes to extend his lead arm like he's throwing a jab, except he doesn't throw it. He likes to leave it out there to keep the opponent at bay, to make you think twice about attacking. From the outset, Resendiz was not having it. He was swatting that fucking lead hand away every time, swatting it down and keeping constant pressure on Caleb Plant. Now you would think instead of just leaving it out there to be swatted, maybe Plant would have hooked off of that lead hand as he saw Resendiz swatting it, or actually jab more. But I think that plays into the suspect cardio that we all know Plant has. I think that he knows if he actually throws more jabs, that's just gonna weaken him. That's gonna make him tire faster into the later rounds. And that's why he holds it out there, hoping that you won't attack him, hoping that him just leaving that arm extended is enough to keep you from coming in. But against a guy with familiarity like Resendiz, it didn't work. So now, with that initial wave of defense, that line of defense broken by Resendiz's constant pressure, Caleb Plant made a choice. He could have started using lateral movement to create space and distance, or he could stay in the pocket and engage. He stood in the pocket. He made the choice to stand in the pocket and engage, and he fucking paid for it. Plant landed some shots, won quite a few early rounds, but he wasn't able to deter Resendiz at all, not even a little bit. The second half of the fight though, from round 6, when he hurt Plant with a chopping right hand and onwards, it was virtually all Resendiz. At points, he was whooping Caleb Plant's ass like we haven't seen before, like even Canelo wasn't whooping that ass. Resendiz was getting in that ass, to the point where you wondered if Plant might get stopped. Them chopping overhand rights in particular were hurting Caleb Plant. And my man was ducking, and he was thinking he was dipping and all this shit, and he was still getting caught with the right hands. It was almost like he was putting himself in range to get caught, dipping and ducking and shit, and you still getting caught with him. Along with the suspect cardio, Plant has a knack for making fights against so-called lesser opponents much tougher than they should or need to be. We saw this in the Macumbi fight, and then we saw Resendiz beat up Caleb Plant. He beat him up. Wobbled Plant several times, had him trying to hold on for dear life, had his right eye cut and swollen and leaking blood, and then the network. I hate when they do this. It's tacky as fuck, but they cut to the loved ones of the motherfucker getting his ass whooped. In this case, Caleb Plant's wife, and her expression said everything. You didn't have to even watch around them to fight. All you had to do was see them cut to Jordan Plant, and you knew shit wasn't good for Caleb. With all that stated, said, and acknowledged, Caleb Plant was the house fighter this night, though. And the scorecards can get tricky when you're the house fighter. In this case, what was a pretty clear, unanimous decision for Resendiz ended up being a split decision. 116, 112, two times, and an absurd score of 115, 113 for Caleb Plant. In a perfect world, judges like that would be made to sit through that fight again and justify the rounds that they scored for that man, knowing he didn't win the rounds. We want to hear you justify it, see you do it on camera, and then we're going to kick your ass out of boxing. Henceforth, forthwith, and indubitably. But I digress, and I definitely want to give trainer Manny Robles his flowers. I didn't know he was Resendiz's trainer until I was watching the fight, watching him warm up. As soon as I saw Manny Robles, I didn't predict an upset, but I knew right then the upset potential was strong. Manny Robles is low-key one of the more underrated, if not the most underrated trainer in the game. When you see Manny Robles working an underdog's corner, be careful. Your eyes better get wide, because it could be on. AnthonyJoshua versus bad-built Andy Ruiz. Nonito Donaire against Magdaleno. Robesi Ramirez versus Rafael Espinosa. And now this fight. On the flip side, this was not the best of days for my man Breadman, Stephen Breadman Edwards. Prior to having Caleb Plant take a massive L, Breadman had Kyron Davis take a L against Yoenli Hernandez. Virtually the same fight. Hernandez was all up in Davis's ass too. And please remember that name, Yoenli Hernandez. Brother was very impressive, Cuban brother, undefeated. Davis was the first man to last the distance with him in 8 fights. PBC is trying to fast track him like they did David Morrell, and I'm here for all of it. He's ready for any and all smoke at middleweight. I love to see him in with Jonabek, with Adames, or with Irislandi Lara. Any of them. JERMALL CHARLO, former two-division champion, got back on the saddle too, having just his second fight in 4 years with a 6-round stoppage of Cornflake Lamanana. Charlo's body never looked softer. He never looked slower. We'll attribute some of that to ring rust, and in that respect, Lamanana was perfect for him. He knocked the milk out of Cornflakes. Charlo is basic, but in a good way. It was all jabs and right hands. Jab, 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 jab right, jab, 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 jab right. Basic, but in a good way. This card only happened to give Charlo a tune-up after 4 years on the shelf practically, in preparation for a bigger fight with Caleb Plant later this year, or so we thought. To me, just little old me, the fact that Caleb Plant lost, it does a little of the shine off a Charlo fight, but I'd still like to see that. We weren't tuning in to that fight for title belts or records any fucking way. It was all about the slap heard around the world. That's why we want to see this fight. With that said, Charlo better be in better shape than he was. His body never looked worse. In bodybuilding contests, that's not what boxing is about. But when a man has been shredded every other fight, and then all of a sudden he isn't, that's for a reason. And even in losing his fight, Plant showed way more speed and athleticism than Charlo did. If nothing else, he still looked fairly quick and athletic, Plant did. People laugh when I say this, but stylistically, Caleb Plant is a slick black fighter with shitty defense. He's Devin Haney in that way. A slick black fighter with shitty defense. When you're slick, black, and can't hurt your opponent, like Devin Haney, that means you should show more mobility in the ring. You need to be on your bicycle a little more, lateral movement. Last thing you need to be is stationary. Now, Plant has more power than Devin Haney, but if he can't hurt his opponent, it's the same fucking thing. You can't be a slick black fighter with shitty defense. You just can't be. If Plant's defense looked like it did against Resendiz with Charlo hitting him, Plant will get stopped in that fight. He will get stopped. All in all, that's what still makes Charlo and Plant intriguing to me. Both men have clear weaknesses that can be exploited, and we need to see it because of the slap heard around the world. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there is nothing left to say or do.